There's all sorts of names being mentioned. The fact is, though, that until the Cardinals actually get into town here and start sizing each other up, it probably all of it's sort of meaningless at this point. Frankly, I mean, this process is a very secretive one. It's a vote that takes place among the Cardinals themselves, and they have lots of opinions about who should be selected as Pope. One of the things that I think we've been talking about is the fact that Benedict XVI has named 67 of these 117 cardinal electors, and as a consequence, since he's personally hand-selected them, they're likely to follow his political and doctrinal lines. And I think we'll see something in terms of a political Pope to be something similar to what we have seen with Pope Benedict XVI. But that's all speculation at this point. Anything can happen once the Cardinals get into town. That's going to be in a couple of weeks' time. And this far in advance, it's really fairly meaningless to speculate. A couple of things that we have heard, though, and from the papal spokesman just a few minutes ago, is sort of what's going to happen over the next few days, and how Pope Benedict XVI is going to spend his last days in office, and basically fulfilling the duties that he had already committed himself to, as well as adding a couple of other things. One thing is he's going to meet with political leaders here in Italy. There's an election campaign on, and of course that issue could give some support. That meeting could give some support to the politicians he meets with. Another thing that's going to happen is that that final papal audience that you mentioned on the 27th, and they're making plans for big crowds. At that point, that audience will be held outside in St. Peter's Square because they believe a lot of people will want to be here for that. And then on the 28th itself, the day the Pope resigns, he'll have a final lunch with his College of Cardinals. They'll meet for a few hours over lunch. That'll be private. And then at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on that day, he'll get into a helicopter and fly off to Castel Gandolfo, which is the papal summer residence. He'll be there for a period of time that's as so far as undefined, and while they prepare what will be his longer-term residence, which is a monastery within the Vatican grounds itself, Manita.
It's interesting to note also, while obviously there's been a lot of chatter as to who might take on the role of Pope after Pope Benedict XVI officially resigns, the reality is whoever takes over and wherever they come from, they will certainly have their work cut out for them.
Well, I think so. The Church is facing a good many challenges in all corners of the planet, and I think that's going to the Pope's agenda, the new Pope's agenda, is going to be full. I mean, there are questions about the church governance inside the church, but there's also questions about the public role of the church. There's questions about recruitment of priests. There's questions about still lingering questions about sexual abuse. There's just any number of questions out there, challenges that the church faces. So it's not going to be easy for the person who takes over. And, you know, I think there'll be also a fair amount of thought given towards exactly what the public role of the Pope should be going forward. So there will be no shortage of work for the new Pope.